go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City uniform, they stay clean. I just caught mine off the Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
We here, baby. You see it. I still don't. I'm gonna get it, man. Let me see. Do I got anything that sounds like that? Just even just a little bit. Something.
Another one.
Nope. One. That ain't it. One. Sorry, my bad. I got it. One day I'm gonna just jump out the box. Huh? Anyway. Thank you for tuning in to SKF Weekly. We are back. It is another Monday night, y'all. Hopefully you guys are doing great, having a fantastic day. Today was a hot one if you're in New York, so y'all know what it was. But listen, man, I ain't going to delay. Let's get right into it. Today has been a jam-packed day for Knick content. There's been a lot of stuff going on the YouTube. So hopefully y'all checked everything out. You know, you checked out Knicks and Bruises. You checked out NBK, Nothing But Knicks. You know, the Queen was on earlier today. There's just so much stuff going on. A lot of content. But without further ado, y'all saw the thumbnail. Y'all see who we got. MBK fam and you know, not only is he MBK fam, he's just an all-around good guy, man. I love it when I get a chance because usually he's always working, so it's really rare that we get to chop it up. So when we can, I take the opportunity and run with it. Let me get my guy up in here. Tony Crow in the building from Knicks and Bruises.
Oh.
Yes. Appreciate it, Tony.
I've never got an introduction like that before. I mean, Freezy's great with introductions. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know what I mean? It's always, you know what I mean? But the applause, you know what I mean? I appreciate that, my brother.
We try, man. We try. If I could have like 10, if I could get like 10 people live behind me, like just clapping it up for you, I would. You know what I mean?
I feel loved.
Really. Hey man, well, how are you doing, sir? How's life treating you? It's good to see you back on Still Knick Fans.
It was a jam-packed day, like you said, man. You know what I mean? Knicks and Bruises, MBK. I'm here with you, Still Knicks fans as well. But I love it. It reminds me of the good old days or the bad old days. Yeah. I mean, depending on how far back you want to go. But yeah, we here.
Yeah. Hold on one second. Is this funny? Because I think this is funny. Maybe I'm wrong. Unless I'm mistaken. If you remember differently, have I ever had you on Still Knick Fans Weekly with John and I at the same time?
One time.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe not the weekly show, but you definitely had me on together.
Maybe on Saturday on Know the Ledge when we had everybody on.
Yes.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, it's a funny thing. Every time we try to get you on the Monday show, we can never be both here at the same time. I don't know. That's crazy.
Nope.
Hey, all right. And you here now, though. That's all that matters.
We usually occupy the same time slot. That's
true too. That's true too.
Because Queens Court, you know what I mean, Knicks and Bruises, MBK. If the season's going on, it's jam packed Monday nights.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, man. So we'll see how we can do this going forward. You know, try it. Like I said, it's a treat when you get to see Tony or even Steph. Like I haven't been able to have Steph on a show in like forever because we do occupy the same time slot. So, but we here, we all fam. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Always good to see you. Obviously, you guys see I'm here with Tony. John's not here. John is actually at either, I don't know if it's a game or it's practice, but he is out there on the AAU circuit with his son. And so, you know, we trying to figure it out. If this is going to be an ongoing thing where a lot of this stuff happens on Mondays, we may even have to switch up the schedule. We'll see. But we'll keep you guys tuned in.
And listen, if he's breeding future Knicks players, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta let the man do what he gotta do.
It's 100%.
Priorities.
100%.
Yeah, we're Knicks fans here. We're still Knicks fans here, so we gotta let him produce the future Knicks.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm definitely with him. Support him 100%, man. And his son Jaden. Shout out to you, Jaden. Shout out to Walter Blackman in the building. He says, "Good evening, Ron. I'm at work waiting on the show." Well, we here, baby. Salute. Hope you're doing well, Walter. Andios NYK in the building. What up, Andios? Appreciate you as always. Good to see you. Says salute, salute. Let's go, Knicks. Peace, blessings to us all. Hit that like, smash the emoji, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy the show. Appreciate you, brother. Once again, guys, please check out Andios on Instagram, man. You won't be disappointed. Real fun dude. Puts up some real fun memes and stuff, inspirational quotes. I say it all the time, but I'm never going to stop because it's worth it. Y'all should all tune in and follow Andios. Carrie Cox in the building. Salute. What's good, Carrie? Appreciate you. Good to see you as always. Hey, Uncle Freeze. What up? Lawrence Tears in the building. Please, guys. Y'all all know because we all family, but if y'all haven't, if y'all new to Still Knicks fans and just tuning in to us recently and don't know about Lawrence Tears, go click on Lawrence Tears and go check out their network and Uncle Freezy and all his list of shows and see how he gives it up, see what he does for the culture and what he does for this Knicks community, man. Always working, always on, always talking Knicks. Appreciate him. My guy 713 Gamer in the building. What up, Fliggity? Bars, he says. And he's a member of Still Knicks fans, so appreciate you, my brother. Nick P in the building. Nick's got a deep team. We can throw different lineups at any team we face. I like that, Nick P. Appreciate you. Salute, brother. Good to see you. We got L Dammit in the building. What up, L? Also a member of Still Knicks fans. Appreciate you. She says, salute, SKF family. 2.83K road to 3K. Let's go, baby. Yes. Yes, the road to 3K is in effect. We are on our way, y'all. We are right now currently hot off the presses. We are at 2,839 subscribers, y'all. So listen, if y'all haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It helps the show. We want to get to 3K by the end of the summer. We want to get to 5K by the end of the year. Smash the like button, but subscribe as well. Tell your nana, tell your auntie, tell your gardener, you know, tell the ice cream man, the mailman, tell them all. Appreciate y'all. All right. A couple more people and we'll get right into the show. Got Johnny Davis in the building. Salute, Johnny. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here and rocking. King Ribby in the building. What up, King Ribby? Good to see you. We got Dripmore in the building. The preferred barber of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community is here. Let's go. We here now, baby. My brother from another mother, Mr. Luis Quinones in the building. My day one dude. Appreciate you, bro. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Okay, we got Kareem Grant in the building. What up, twin? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We
barbecue chicken.
I was telling him, man, I miss seeing Kareem. We haven't seen Kareem in person in a minute, man. It's been fun, you know, to link up. Deron Wayne is in the building. Said Tony's on tour. Yeah.
I'm on a world tour with Ron and my mans. You know what I mean?
He's making the rounds right now. Yeah, Tony's definitely you know, he's been a hot commodity all day. I appreciate him. And salute to you, Deron, another member of the SKF army. You see, guys, don't be afraid. Just hit that join button on your you know, laptop or on your phone. Come on. We here. Gusto, my guy Brian Gustin is in the building. Salute. What's going on, brother? Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. Looking good doing it is in the building. He said, yo, what's the hype? McCullar, this dude nice. He's not nice, I'll tell you that. Nah, he's a good-looking player. Good-looking player. It's good to see you looking good doing it. I haven't seen you in the chat in a minute. Okay, all right. And we also got Dorkosaurus Rex in the building. That's right. The Kevin McCullers Jr. hype is already in effect. We started tonight. Salute, brother. Okay. All right. There we go. We here. So let's not waste no more time, Tony. Let's get right to it. The Knicks have finally signed Kevin McCullers Jr. He didn't get an outright signing like some guys got, but he did get a two-way, so that's good. At least he's on the team. It doesn't really affect their 15-man roster, but he will be able to join the team at a later time. I always wonder about that. I'm like, who decides how to use the two-ways? Like, do they go to Westchester early, or do they, but I guess it all depends on when the season starts, right?
Yeah, I would think they're there for the regular season start. You know what I mean? Not playing per se, but just to get that rep from the big team, practice with the big team. Because I think the G League starts later than the NBA season, correct?
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? So once the G League start, I believe that's going to be their primary spot, unless needed, with the big team.
Yeah,
but they, you know what I mean? They get to learn, practice, strategize, everything. They get all the benefits of being with the big team, other than necessarily a role or playing. That only comes if we fall upon hard times. Something bad happens.
Exactly. Which we hope we don't have that happen this year. We got enough of that last year. And so if y'all didn't see it, this is what it looked like earlier today. Michael Scotto basically broke the news, said the New York Knicks and Kevin McCullar have agreed to a two-way contract. League sources told Hoops Hype. McCullar earned all Big 12 first-team honors this past season at Kansas. He was also named to the Big 12 All-Defensive Team and earned all Big 12 third-team honors in 2023. Yeah, man. Kevin McCullers is a good-looking player, and as already said in the chat, we've talked about it in the past, he is basically like a Josh Hart light. He has a lot of that same energy. He's got a lot of the same attributes. Defensively, he can turn into a monster. He's already a good-looking young defender, and he can just get better. And then imagine that. I mean, he is on the two-way, so he's going to go to Westchester, but if he is with the team at all and gets to practice with them, what the level of defensive integrity you get from being around guys like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. He's going to learn so much from being around these guys. It's definitely going to help them. Yeah, and Josh Hart. Yeah, definitely going to help them. And we did a little quick rundown of a lot of the young Knicks players before on Know the Ledge, the Saturday show. But I just so happen to still have Kevin McCullar's numbers just for reference. And, this is what he did at Kansas: 18.3 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.4 blocks, 45% from the field, 33% from three, 80% from the free throw line. And he's a good defender. I don't know, y'all. I'm digging it. I like that. I like that. What? So, how you feel about Kevin McCullers, brother?
I mean, I've said this in years past, but this might be the year that it holds true the most. It's good. I mean, McCullar included. You know what I mean? But everybody we kind of drafted. It's good to draft guys without having the dependability, like depending on them immediately. You know what I mean? Like, so having a guy with when you talk about comparisons, it's Josh Hart. But then when you look at the film, or if you watched them before film when he was in college, you can see the comparisons. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna make those same comparisons off jump. Like, he has an opportunity and a role in the NBA, but now you don't got to rush anything, and you can kind of like help him grow into who you want him to be. You know what I mean? So what are his weaknesses right now? Probably shooting, right? So he could concentrate on that aspect, knowing that the things that he's good at could give him a role in the NBA right now if need be. You know what I mean? So hopefully when he comes in or when he gets his opportunity, he's ready to go. And there's guys out there that spoke about him as potentially a steal of the draft, considering where he was prior to getting hurt, and where his draft trajectory was prior to getting hurt. So yeah, it's kudos to the front office, but kudos to, you know what I mean, we got a young stud here. You know what I mean? Not the youngest, but you know what I mean, a young stud.
Yeah, he's a little older than the average young player coming to the league, which hopefully that helps with his maturity. The only knock on this young man is just him being able to be healthy. But healthy, he looks like a solid player. Of course, you know, time will tell if we get to see anything from him. But like I said, sometimes in a situation like this, it's good to have a player like that who can push the other guys in practice, learn from these guys, and then when his number is called, whenever that may be, whether it be this year or next year, he's ready for the opportunity and knows what the team needs. So I'm excited about it. I like the kid. I hope we get to see him at some point. I mean, I hope we don't get to see him this year that much, but I hope we get to see him at some point. You know what I mean? Down the line.
I mean, we could watch him in the G. We could watch him in Westchester.
Yeah, in the G League.
You know what I mean? Remember how guys was with Deuce?
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was putting up them numbers. Like, it wasn't everybody, but it was certain guys in the chats. Yo, Deuce put up 35 today. He's looking good. You know what I mean? We focus on the main team. But yeah, the opportunity is there. Watch him in the G League.
True point. Shout out to the chat once again. I see more people have joined. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Just Knicks. Appreciate you. Knicks will be 2025-26 champs in the building. Salute. D-Block in the building. Man, if you in the building, I know you saw the locks on Tiny Desk, man. I don't even have to ask. I'm sure you've seen that. But if you haven't, please check that out because I think you would enjoy it. I haven't really done my thing on my other channel yet, but it's coming. A couple days, you'll see me put something out about that. All right, hold on. Shout out to Sherwin in the building. Good night, all. He says, good to see you. My guy Apollo in the building. Got up Knicks in the building. Salute, brother. Hope you're doing well. And Sherwin said something. He said the Knicks will be the shortest team in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna be a small team in some aspects, but there's other teams that are small too. There are. And listen, I'm not saying that this is the case, but if they play good basketball and they show that they have talent and they play good defense, it's not going to matter too much that they're shorter. There'll be some matchup issues at some points. But remember, when a good defender is a good defender, as long as they can, you know, somewhat have you within reach, you can get stopped by anybody on the court. We saw a couple years ago, Marcus Smart was the MVP of the league as far as defensive MVP, should I say. Imagine that, a point guard. So you just never know, man. If these guys learn how to really lock in and play that type of defense that I think they can play,
switch everything.
100%. Create those mismatches on the other side too. They may be small on one end, but you know, use that to their advantage on the other side. Run the other. I think we're gonna have to be a fast moving team that you know, can knock down the three. But I don't know if they're really gonna move like that. We'll see. But I think they should. They should think about it. Let's see. All right. Hey, shout out to Darren Wilkerson in the building as well. Salute to you, Darren. Here's the thing, Tony. I feel like I haven't really done the deep dive into it. All right. I want to try to do it, but I know it's a little particular, right? And that's why I haven't done it. I was trying to do it for tonight's show. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but I wanted to actually have some, you know, graphical evidence, some statistical proof to lend to the argument. What's your thoughts about this Knicks team? And I know this is premature. Let me put it up on the screen so everybody in the chat can think about it too, because it's very interesting. Okay, and I think I kind of alluded to it before, but like I said, still haven't been able to do the deep dive into it, but I got Tony here and I want to get his thoughts on it. Okay. Let's do it like this. I don't even want to put that much pressure on them. Let's just keep it to Knicks related. Yeah, let's do that. That's more fair. And I think you guys can have a better opinion if we do it like that. Because if I open it up, it's going to get too crazy.
So wait, I thought it was coming on this screen, so I got to turn it on my
Oh no, I'll tell you what it is. This is just for everybody else.
I got you.
Okay, here we go. Can this Knicks team be the best Knicks team ever? Oh, it was supposed to be defensively. Excuse me. Let me fix that. Defensively. I don't even like that. Let's do this. Best
defensive team ever.
Best defensive team ever. But Knick team. So that's the reason why I didn't want to. If I said it, I was going to say that like that from before, but that would be comparing against everybody. So, but I'll put it out there like that. But you guys know what I mean. I'm specifically talking about Knicks. Can this be the best Knicks team on a defensive standpoint ever? So not the best defensive team ever in the NBA, because it's a lot. That's a lot. But can this be the best Knicks defensive team ever? What do you guys think about that? Tony, what's your thoughts on that?
My quick answer is yes, absolutely. But if you go back to last year, right, where we were holding teams to under 80 points at a portion, you know what I mean, under 90 points in this era. So if you just look at the point totals that we were holding teams to last year for a portion of the season, you know what I mean, post OG trade, you know what I mean, we were holding teams to a number that we haven't seen since the 90s. That right there is proof. You know what I mean? And now we added McCall to that. I guess the only argument against it is how valuable was Hartenstein, but the majority of Hartenstein's time was with the absence of, like, Hartenstein stepped up when Mitchell Robinson went out. You know what I mean? It's not like we were getting the Hartenstein production with Mitchell Robinson there. So to me, as long as Mitchell Robinson is healthy, OG's healthy, you know what I mean? Like, as long as we're healthy, I think this probably is the best defensive Knicks team ever. Because it's so much versatility. You got almost everybody other than maybe Brunson that can guard up or can guard down. If he's a 2, he could guard the 1, he could guard the 3. If he's a 3, he could guard the 3, the 4, or the 5. You know what I mean? Like, other than Brunson, everybody on this team can arguably guard up or guard down. It may not be for the entirety of a season, you know what I mean? But even DiVincenzo, I think, you know what I mean, you could put him at the 3 at times, and it's not going to be a liability. You know what I mean? It may not be ideal, but Josh Hart, he could guard 2s, he could guard 4s. You know what I mean? OG, he could guard 5s, he could guard 1s. You know what I mean? So
that's
because
true.
of the versatility, absolutely. The defensive versatility, absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's it's. I think that
And
Tom Thibodeau.
You might say best defensive team in the league if you're focusing on the versatility.
Right.
Because I can't think of another team, especially at the age of the players that we have. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you might have some guys that got it historically, but is that player who they was at their peak? You know what I mean? Like, we got McCall at the peak. You know what I mean? You got OG at the peak. We got Hart at the peak. You know what I mean? Like, we got Deuce, like, probably not at his peak yet. So I don't think there's I don't think you could argue best in the league currently.
No, I agree with currently. That. 100%. I agree with. I think they will be the best defensive team in the league this year, and like I said, I think they'll go down as maybe, if not the best, but definitely in contention to be the best defensive Knicks team ever. And just see how far they push themselves. But so let me see here. Some of the chat has weighed in. Andio says, yeah, as long as we stay healthy. White Falcon said no. Okay. Sherwin says, yes, if Mitch gets hurt, it all changes. And Johnny Davis was asking, who are our best defensive players? Okay. Well, just off the top, our best defensive player, I'm going to say, is OG Anunoby, right? Our second best would be Mitchell Robinson. Then I would say Mikal Bridges. Then I would say, this is where it gets interesting, guys, because people don't really see this, but you just got to look at the league statistics from last year, and you'll see. Some people might interject Josh Hart here. I'm going to tell you it's Dante DiVincenzo here. Dante statistically had a better defensive season than Josh Hart. I'm not saying he did as much as Josh Hart with the defense, the rebounding, all the other, but as far as man-to-man defense and kind of holding your opponent to certain percentages, Dante DiVincenzo did a damn good job. Really, it was kind of surprising. I didn't even know.
But, and this is no knock on Dante, because I think he's done this historically throughout his career. My only pushback is Hart probably had a harder defensive assignment night in and night out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you know what I mean?
100%.
Not saying DiVincenzo's not capable of doing that against higher competition, but Hart had you know what I mean? So he had a harder task each night. So DiVincenzo's job theoretically was easier each night. He was probably guarding the second worst offensive player night in and night out. You know what I mean? Brunson was probably guarding the worst. DiVincenzo was probably guarding the second worst.
Well, I won't say that. I won't say that because remember, there was a point where Dante was starting and he had Hart was there too. And Hart had the guard, like maybe Hart's gone Jimmy Butler. But whoever is the second best perimeter player, Dante had to guard him because you don't want that. You don't want Brunson guarding him.
So, are you saying post OG trade or pre OG trade? I'm thinking post OG trade. So now it was OG guarding.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The best guy theoretically. You know what I mean? Hart guarding the next guy. Then it was, you know what I mean?
That's fair. But I'm also thinking when OG was out too.
Okay, that's fair too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's capable. He's more than capable. I'm just saying, night in and night out, Hart probably had a harder defensive task night in and night out than DiVincenzo did.
That's a fair point. So yeah, I'm thinking OG, Mitch, Mikal, Dante. Well, okay, because of what Tony said, then I'll give it to Hart because Hart's matchup was probably tougher. So Hart, Dante, and then I would say McBride. And that's now I know you guys are like, okay, I mean, that's 6 guys. But listen, if you got 6 guys on your team that play good defense and 3 of them are exceptional, you got a good defensive team, guys. I mean, I know, you just say, just looking at 6, you're like, there's 15 guys on the team. How many guys play? 10, whatever. That I'm just telling y'all, that's a good defensive team right there. So,
and when you look at the rest of the league and you try to give that comparison, at best they may have 2.
Right. And think about the other thing. Like, if I already told you we got 6 really good defenders and 3 exceptional ones, think of the other guys that can play defense, but they don't always show you, the promise that you're expecting. Think of how they fit with the other 6. Now Julius don't have to go crazy running all around the court. He could just focus on, help defense with certain guys in a certain area. Think of Brunson. you know, while all these other guys are hassling dudes and stopping them from doing what they got to do, Brunson just does his thing and jumps in front of somebody, gets a charge. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many benefits of having all these guys around doing their defensive, you know, thing that the Knicks can capitalize. And we're not even talking right.
Even the pressure on you, because now you can make a mistake, because your mistake can be erased a little bit more easier than, you know what I mean? So now you can take a little bit more risk. You know what I mean? Not saying be lazy, but now you can take more risk because you know your back line of defense is there to back you up. You know what I mean? As opposed to being on edge. I don't want to take that risk. Maybe you should have. You know what I mean? Or being on edge. Now it's everything's a little bit more loose.
That works. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm telling you, I agree with you 100% on that. That makes a lot of sense. I think the Knicks are in a really, it's finally one of those moments where, you know, we kept complaining about this Knicks team and some of the deficiencies that it had. But when you can stack defense, it makes up for a lot of those deficiencies and allows players to look a lot better. It's the same thing I said about the Knicks team 3 years ago when they were the 4th seed, when they had, you know, I've referenced it a lot, but it's true. When they had Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton, those two guys made up for a lot of the deficiencies on the perimeter with RJ's defense and with Julius's defense on the help side, you know, and because of that, they disguised things. Like we knew that Julius was a pretty good defender, but you know, when they left, we got to see some of his deficiencies that, you know, he doesn't necessarily have great help defense. You're moving around guarding guys in the perimeter. We got to see RJ. We thought RJ might be turning into like a baby Jimmy Butler. But after those guys left and we had to actually see him get exposed, like moving around, trying to keep, you know, pace with a lot of these fast-footed guards and small forwards, and RJ's, you know, his speed looked slower. His feet didn't look that great. So things kind of got exposed. But now we're at the point where we got guys to make up for those deficiencies. So I like it. I like this team, man. I'm really excited. Shout out to my guy Corey Lee. Thank you, my brother, for the generous super chat. He says, peace and salute. Queens is in the building. All these Nas fans, man. I gotta watch these dudes. I gotta do better vetting when I do these shows, man.
I mean, I'm from the Bronx, but I ain't mad at Queens in the building when we talk about Nas.
Salute to you, Corey. Appreciate you, man. Yo, and guys, if y'all haven't checked out Corey Lee and my brother Bully, listen, man, 718 Boys in full effect on the Lawrence Tears Network, usually Sundays at 10 a.m. Please show them some support, show them some love, show Lawrence Tears some love, all that good stuff. My guy, Uncle Freezy.
Queens
shout
give
out
the money.
Yes, or they get the money. You know.
I was just saying, generous super chat. Queens give the money.
Oh, look at you. You slick with it. It's that content creation stuff, man. Salute to Keith Watkins in the building. Late login. Did I miss much? Nah, you okay. And whatever you missed, that's what the replay gang is about, brother. But we are joined here tonight by the one and only Mr. Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises. MBK fam is in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to my guy White Falcons. Always good to see you, White Falcon. Yeah, tech. So it's tough, Dorcosaurus. I did say I got a nickname for you. I'm gonna call you D-Rex. That's right. Yeah. It's tough, right? Because he said Precious is a better defender than Devo or Josh Hart, in my opinion. If you watch his career, he has guarded Embiid effectively on 3 playoffs across 3 teams. Embiid is a specific type of guy because we've also saw when Precious had to play, extended minutes, and we had to use him as a starter on different occasions, and he had to play the center. There was a lot of moments where he was getting exposed by the centers he was playing. So he looked better at the power forward position. I'm not saying that, he can't adjust, but it just looks like he's better at playing the power forward than he is defensively than playing the center position because of the height. He is 6'8", and centers, he's going up against 7 foot or even sometimes 7'1" guys. I mean, that's a lot.
I'm interested to know what his defensive numbers is in general, like as
Mhm.
as a whole. But
Mhm.
there was a stat that I highlighted last week about him being him having the best defensive numbers of any player alongside OG Anunoby. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
true.
So when partnered with Anunoby, so I'm assuming the majority of this time was when Randall went out. You know what I mean? The majority of his numbers, I mean, he had the best defensive numbers on the team when being next to Anunoby. When
Right.
so I mean, and so there's some validity to his defensive and like I've pointed out, the versatility of his defense. You know what I
Correct.
mean? He may not be able to guard every center all the time, but his switch ability, you know what I mean, from play to play is what makes him more valuable in my opinion.
Yeah, and the problem that I will say is what and is why his defensive numbers kind of level off in a certain way is when OG Anunoby was hurt and Precious was out there. He's not the same defender. I mean, what that's everybody gets a boost from OG Anunoby. Okay, and that's just how it is. When you got a guy like that out there wreaking havoc, everybody benefits. But is that we were at a point where we were kind of so handicapped with our ability to cover certain positions that Precious was kind of thrust and put out there and put all over the place, and then you don't have OG out there, doing certain things, and that's when I think that's probably the time where Precious looked like his defense was getting a little bit more exposed.
Mm-hmm.
But I will definitely say you are correct because I remember when OG and Precious came here, they looked great together, man. We were like, uh-oh. Remember we was talking about Precious like they were talking about him like he's the throw-in. I was like, no, Precious look great.
And the good thing about this team, as currently constructed, now we have an opportunity where if OG is out, maybe it's McCall next to Precious. Maybe that gives him enough of a release of responsibility that he becomes, you know what I mean, his numbers become greater than if he's the primary defender or the only defender. You know what I mean? Because when you're removing OG, you know what I mean. Granted, maybe we had Hart on the team or on the floor with him, but if not, he's the primary guy. He's guarding the primary guy. That's not his best role. His best role is as a secondary defender or you know what I mean, a backup defender, help defender. You don't want him necessarily on the best guy night in and night out. Yeah. I'd rather McCall there if OG's out. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. I can agree with that. That makes sense. I don't think that you'd go wrong with that type of, and I think that's what they're going to try to do. That makes a lot of sense. It just makes 100%, to have one of those guys in there at all times if you can. Shout out to who just said that? Was it Sherwin? Yeah. No, it was White Falcon. And Nick Yak. Nick Yak said when Mitch went down, we were giving up 105 points a game. But listen, I don't want to be that guy. I'm just saying, in fairness, I just want to bring it up. Mitch was playing fantastic, right? The Knicks were playing really good. This goes back to the C word, continuity and all that stuff. It was in the beginning of the season, right? And, a lot of teams hadn't really hit their stride yet because usually the first month is a feeling out period. Mitch played the first 21 to 24 games, I believe. I think that's where he got hurt around that time. That's not a lot of games for a lot of teams to really start clicking and getting their stuff going. So it's tough to say that Mitch was the biggest difference. He was playing great though. He was playing fantastic during that time. But like I said, it's that first month of the season is a little tricky because a lot of teams are still kind of getting up to speed and getting their stride.
If you grade him against his previous starts, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, this was the best Mitch.
You mean the best Mitch we've ever seen?
100%. That is a fact. I agree with you. We thought this is the first time I was shooting Mitch with hella bail. I was like, you know what? He says it every year. This might be the first year he becomes an all defensive player. That's what I was thinking. And then he got hurt. Stinks. Yeah. And I would say prior to the OG trade, Mitch was the best defender, White Falcon, but they showed a stat the other day, and this is, I mean, you already saw Tony's talking about the pressure stat with OG out there. They showed a stat the other day of the wins and the plus minus with OG Anunoby on the court.
Stupid.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Stupid.
I was like, what?
They shouldn't even do a cumulative because it sounds too crazy. They just need to average it out to per game.
Yeah, it's nuts. This is crazy. It's crazy talk, y'all. Shout out to American Man in the building. He said, show me a team that has won the championship in the last 5 years playing positionless ball. This is imaginary Knicks world. Well, I mean, remember, there's certain teams that are coming up that are developing this style of play more and more and using it. The Orlando Magics of the world, they play like positionless ball. OKC.
Positionless to me means able to switch at any position. You know what I mean? And to me, that's name me a team that hasn't. You know what I mean? You probably have one guy that's in each starting lineup. Pardon me. Each starting lineup that like there's one guy on each starting lineup that's not able to switch any position. But the majority of guys are. And the more you have, the better the teams have been.
That's a nice stat. Dorkosaurus Rex, D-Rex. He said from 2021, when Precious was on the Heat, Precious Achiuwa has become the first player in NBA history to post 14 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal in 12 minutes or less per stat head. Interesting. Okay. I like it. I can dig it. Deron Wayne says Brunson is the only basically subpar defensive player, but he will take charges and would prefer take less of them. Well, yeah, I mean, I would too, because you can get hurt that way. And at some points, he takes some awkward charges that I'm like, man, that could have, tough getting caught in the noggin, the lower noggin, like he puts his body on the line, man. Yeah, but he will do it. That just shows you like he does whatever he can to make up for the fact that he's not a great defender. Nick Yak says go look at Randall's defensive numbers last year. I don't know what you're saying by that. Are you saying they were good or were they bad? I think he finished with 114 defensive rating. In comparison, Precious finished with a 112.5 rating, which is good, as far as statistics go. But then someone did explain to me that if you look at his actual matchup rating versus players, Randall's defense wasn't as good as that number dictates. So you got to, when it comes to defense, sometimes you got to look a lot deeper to understand the impact, but he's still been a solid defender his whole career. Shout out to Quiet Money in the building. Salute. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Presley the boss in the building. Salute. What's good? He says salute, Ron and Tony. Good to see you. Let me see. A la Wise in the building. What's good? Appreciate you, my brother. Okay, let me go rapid fire because D-Rex had a lot to say about it. Okay, Precious has had stints of truly elite defensive stats with Knicks, especially in February, March. I just feel Precious' defensive contributions are chronically slept on by the Knicks fans, and Precious stats don't justify being overlooked like that, in my opinion. From 2021, okay, I read that. Also, Precious was seen as the most reliable three-point shooter on the Raptors at one point. Well, let me tell you, his shot didn't look like that with the Knicks.
What I will say about
the Raptors
is the larger his role became, the more he delivered. You know what I mean? Like he seemed to struggle when his role was spot minutes and spot duty, when he knew, or whether it was he knew or not, when his role became more definitive and his minutes became more, you know what I mean, solid and or steady, his production became better. And not for nothing, that's a hard thing for players everywhere throughout the world to be able to produce under any circumstance, whether it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier when you know your role is defined and the minutes that you're getting are defined. But I agree. It was a world of difference between his play when he was getting spot minutes and when, I mean, Randall went out, to be honest, and Mitch went out. When Randall went out after Mitch, his role became defined.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Shout out to 808 Empire State is in the building. Salute to you. Hope you're doing well. Is that Losers Lounge guy from MBK? Yes, it is. That is him. That is my guy. Yes, sir. Don't worry. You're gonna see a lot of Losers Lounge coming this year. We ready.
That's hilarious, though. I'm gonna use that Losers Lounge guy. Tony Crow, Knicks and Bruises, and Losers Lounge. But I'm definitely gonna quote that, man. Losers Lounge guy.
Yo, J Tap's hilarious. He said your cat just did a drive-by. Yeah, he definitely made an appearance real quick. Let you know he's out here. Shout out to Randu in the building. Salute. What's good? Old head in the building. Salute, old head. Good to see you. Yeah. Alawai said when Randall was on the floor with OG, his plus minus was 152. OG was like 212. Yeah, numbers is bananas, man. OG make a difference. That's why you can't, as a Knicks fan, I mean, we can say what we want to say. Everybody like, oh, that's a lot of money. OG make a difference out there. Healthy OG makes a difference, and he's only 26 years old. I think he just turned 27. He just had a birthday. I mean, come on, y'all. It's tough not to pay that man the money. He deserve it. Shout out to D Coolest in the building. Salute, my brother. I hope you're doing well. So going back to Sherwin, because he made another point about the big man. He said, no, Ron, the NBA is changing the rules. They are allowing people to bang down low. This is when he referencing the Knicks are going to be one of the smallest teams in the league reference. I mean, listen, I get it, Sherwin. I do know that they're changing the rules. They're allowing the big man to be a little bit more comfortable doing what the big man does, so the traditional big man can get a little love back in the league. I get it.
But the players have to adjust back. You know what I mean? Because most of the bigs don't want to be down there anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and that goes from across the board. You know what I mean? Like, you go back to like Aldridge, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't want to go to the Knicks and play the center. You know what I mean? Or AD, I want a big man alongside me. Like currently, he rather play the power forward than play the five, even though optically you could see he's better suited at the five. He's a mismatch at all, you know what I mean? But they don't want to bang down low as much anymore. The players don't. So even if the NBA opens it up, it's only going to benefit a select few players. Randall being one of them.
Right. No, yeah, I agree with that. There has to be an adjustment. It's just like it's the same with how the NBA adjusted to the Golden State Warriors and that style of play with the 3-point shooting. And now all these teams have adopted it. Boston has become, Golden State East. It's crazy. And I don't know. People don't talk about this enough, man. That's wild that Boston shoots as many threes as they shoot and at such a high clip. It's crazy.
To me, it's only a detriment to that team because if the three is not falling, they're talented enough to still win. But my thing is, I don't know if they have the mindset to stop shooting them when they need to. You know what I mean? Like it feels like some teams will literally live and die by the three, even if you have enough talent to still win without, you know what I mean, when the shot is not falling. But you got it's got to be an open mindset. It can't just be live and die by the three, and that's my thing about. Now, granted, they won the chip. I can't knock them. They, you know what I mean, they the champions, but I don't know how long it's sustainable. I think that was the problem with Golden State as well. They lived and died by the three. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could win like that. I don't know if that's gonna be the thing forever. You know what I mean? You got to be able to adjust in game in real time.
That's facts. 100%. I agree with that. That's the hardest part. Understanding that the other shoe might drop, right? Can you keep that up? You know, you're going to win games playing that style, but you're going to lose games like that too. Now, in fairness, this year it worked. This year they ran through the league, and to be able to shoot at a 40% clip is nuts. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how, you know, you can keep it up, but from year to year, things change. Sometimes the magic don't work the same way. Maybe guys just, you know, struggle a little bit more finding their shot, than they did the previous year. That's how all sports work. One year you do one thing, next year you do something a little different. May still be successful and at a high clip, but it just may be a little different. That's how you see a guy shooting 41%, like Julius Randle one year, and then the next year he's shooting 33% from three. You know, things happen. So, but I hear you, Sherwin. You do make a good point. The rules are changing. The big man, the traditional big man is coming back, and the style of play is definitely going to lean towards that. But that's why, as a team, you have to have your offense and defense in a certain way that you dictate the pace of the game. You dictate the style of the game so that it benefits you. Don't get sucked into what the other team is trying to do. You create the pace. But sometimes it happens and you just have to kind of adjust, which we saw what happened with us in the playoffs against Indiana. So you knew where I was going.
That was the MO. I mean, Indiana's credit, that was the MO throughout the year. You know what I mean? Especially when it was rolling early. It was like they're not changing their style of play for nobody. You have to try to beat them at their game. It kind of flustered in the middle of the season. You know what I mean? I think they kind of got back to it the tail end of our series. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just you just have to, you got to work towards figuring out if you can, dictate the pace on your own and not let the other team do it to you, should I say, which ain't always easy. But that's what it's all about. You got to play, see what happens. So I know you might have talked about this a little bit early, and I don't want to get too crazy into it, but just real quick, just wanted to touch on it. But do you feel like Julius Randle will take a discount with the Knicks?
Ultimately, I do think he will. Ultimately, I think he will. That could come in a number of different ways, but ultimately, I think he does. I'm tired of like yelling at Knicks fans and pleading my case. So I'm gonna change my stance and just say I'm gonna let Leon Rose continue to do what Leon Rose does. Like he hasn't let me down yet. So so however it turns out, I think it's gonna end up being the right move. He's been cooking, man. So yeah, I ain't gonna add to the stress of whether it gets done immediately or not anymore. I'm gonna just let it happen as it happens because I trust this front office more than any other front office the Knicks has had. Even the glory days. And I ain't talking about championships because I ain't witnessed that. But even the great 90s, I think this front office is better than that front office.
Whoa. That's saying something. Huh. That there's a case. So you could be onto something. I haven't thought about it like that.
This front office is on the same page with the people they hired, the coaching staff. That alone, you know what I mean? That alone negates all the success of the 90s because we're on the path for it. So we haven't reached the finals yet, like some of these other Knick organizations or Knick front offices. But if you look at the downfall of the greats when it comes to Pat Riley and it comes to Jeff Van Gundy, both those guys left on bad terms, and they left because there wasn't continuity between the coaching staff and the front office. I don't foresee that happening anytime in the near future, and it definitely hasn't been any real turmoil other than maybe the Kemba Walker signing. You know what I mean? Like that might have been the only move that the front office did that wasn't stamped by Tibbs. And he's the only coach that the front office has extended. You know what I mean? That has fulfilled their coaching duties and finished the contract. Like we haven't seen that. We have like
I mean, yeah, when you put you're right.
Who has finished their coaching obligations when signed to the Knicks? Who has finished it and then got extended?
Yeah. Yes, you are right. Well, I take it for granted. You're right.
Now he just got to bring it home. You know what I mean? Like that's all Tibbs and the front office got to do. They just got to finish the job. But when you look at their track record, as small as it is, I mean, you can put it up there against any front office coaching staff that we've been a part of. I'm speaking for me in my 40s.
That you're right. That's actually facts. I didn't think about that, man. I haven't really. I mean, I have compared this regime as far as players to the old players in the 90s and their success and what this team could do. But I haven't really thought about the front office. That's a good point. This front office has been cooking. You ain't lying. That is definitely a good point. Shout out to the chat once again. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please smash the like button, as you can see, if you haven't already done so. We got a good show here. Once again, great conversation, chopping it up with my guy Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises. MBK fam is in the building. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in.
You got a super chat, but can you throw up the zigzag zigalog comment?
Yes. Zigzag Zigala says, well, Pat Riley would have stayed had the Knicks matched the Heat's offer, but they declined. LOL.
I just want to say that the Heat's offer was coaching control, and front office decisions.
That's true.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't have matched it and gave it up, but that's essentially somebody giving up their own job to give it to Pat Riley. Or the essentially James Dolan firing somebody and giving Pat Riley full control. At the time, I thought they should have did it, but it's not just match a monetary offer. It's he wanted full control.
Yeah, that's a good point. We do forget that sometimes because Pat Riley definitely wanted more, and he was like the beginning of it. it didn't stop there. Like he kind of kicked it off. Then when we got Van Gundy wanted that too. Like that, that's what they wanted. Yeah, who knows what would have happened if they decided to give that to Pat Riley.
But ultimately, that just means the front office and the coach are not on the same page. You know what I mean? If they're on the same page, then you guys are working together when you're making moves. You're making moves with the coaching and the coaching staff and the coaching style in the, you know what I mean, in part of your decision making. Again, we talked about that with Tibbs. When you give Tibbs type of players, he excels. When you give him potential, but he has to figure that potential out, it's not his best, you know what I mean? Like, it's not his best strong suit.
That's fair.
You got to be on the same page.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully, I mean the Knicks have been fortunate enough to be able to find the proper mix where you don't have to worry about Tibbs doing that stuff or asking for that, because we got really good people in place. And it seems that everything seems to be working out, fantastically. So hopefully we keep the good vibes going and they keep doing what they got to do and meet the expectations for this year, because there's a lot. All right, now I want to get into this. I don't want to keep Tony that much longer. It's late. Tony's been doing a lot all day today, but I do want to touch on this. So, when Alan Hahn was on the show last week, we got to talk about 10-man rotation stuff, right? And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Tony, because a lot of people, I think, were taken aback by that. Because Alan even said it. A lot of people may not believe it, but Tom Thibodeau wanted to go to a 10-man rotation.
Listen,
right?
that was the highlight of my show, after your show, because that was my biggest takeaway from your interview with him. You know what I mean? That 10-man, you know what I mean? Not just him saying it, but like you said, the way he said it. A lot of people aren't gonna believe me. You know what I mean? When you say that, I put some validity to it, coming from Alan Hahn, coming from some guy, a guy already that close to the organization. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I'm inclined to believe if that was his thought last year, and ultimately it got harder and harder the more bodies we lost. You know what I mean? So it's not the excuse why it didn't happen is kind of built in. You know what I mean? Because the more guys you lose, the more guys you have qualified to be in the rotation. And I already think there was guys in the rotation that may not have seen minutes at all. You know what I mean? If everyone was healthy all year round. That being said, I also think he learned from last year, and I think if that was his decision or if that was his thought process, now he has 10 adequate guys. Like, it may not be 10 guys every night. It may be 10 guys based off of the circumstances, night in and night out. It might be 10 guys based off of the matchup, night in and night out. If we're playing against a small team, maybe we see a small ball lineup more. You know what I mean? Maybe we see, you know what I mean? Maybe we see Jericho I just think it's going to be circumstantial. So it may not be 10 guys night in and night out, but it can have 10 guys in a rotation. But tonight, Cam plays. Tomorrow, Cam don't play. You know what I mean? Tonight, this guy plays. Jericho plays. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, Precious plays. Based off the matchup, based off of the lineups of the other team. So I could see it.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. It's situational. That's going to be. I mean, we talked about it on your show when you got into, Tom Thibodeau and understanding the different rotations and things he's going to be responsible for and giving people minutes. Like, it's going to get tricky. It's going to get tricky. He's going to have to figure that out. But I think it's very interesting that for the first time in a long time, Tom Thibodeau might be in a position to comfortably have a 10-man rotation. Like, I mean, it's a choice that, you know, he hasn't had to really make in a long time because just the trust level hasn't been there. But I think this year is a moment where guys have a chance to prove his trust, like show his trust, that he can have trust in them to make it a 10-man rotation. It don't have to happen. I think that 8-9 is solid, but a 10th could happen. It definitely could happen. Oh, you're on mute, Tony.
I'll give you another example of a possibility because I think we've seen a little bit of it late last year. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see if Josh Hart played. I won't even say Josh Hart, but that's a fair example. But let Mikal Bridges played 47 minutes on Monday night, and it's a back-to-back. I wouldn't be surprised if Mikal sits out Tuesday night. You know what I mean? Or if it's OG in that sense, or if it's Hart in that sense. I wouldn't be surprised if load management gets implemented by Tibbs. Like, I know it's a crazy thought, you know what I mean? But I think because of the depth of this team, he might utilize that, because I think we've seen some of that late last year. You know what I mean? Where certain guys didn't play back-to-backs. You know what I mean? Whether it's Hartenstein, I mean, granted, he was dealing with a foot soreness and things of that nature. But I think when you have available guys, but capable guys, it becomes a lot easier to make those decisions. Oh, you're a little hobbled? Let's get you right. You can sit tonight. You know what I mean? We got this guy ready to step up in your place. That extra day of you not playing today might give us 3 more games down the line, as opposed to we let you play today and now you're missing a week because you played back-to-back games at this amount of minutes. So I think Tibbs is going to adjust because he has more capable options on his roster.
I think that's a fair point. But let me ask you this. So what would that 10-man rotation look like to you? Because we know what the 5 is. I mean, technically, you probably know what the 7 is, right? That's not even a thought, right? So we're talking Brunson, McCall, OG, Randall, and then Mitch. And then 5th, most likely, first man off the bench is probably Josh Hart, right?
Or
so
Devo.
Josh is,
or Devo.
Either way, but you know,
either one. That's the
mix
7.
and match.
We know that's the 7.
That's the 7. That's the 7. Yeah. So then the assumption is that Deuce, well, depending on if they need to go big, but the assumption is that really Deuce would be 8, or if they need to go big.
I think Precious is 8. Unless somehow Sims is over Precious, and the only reason I say that is because of longevity on this team, and if he took any type of step forward, you know what I mean, this offseason coming into this year. But I would put a big, and either way, whether it's Precious or Sims, I would put them as the 8th guy before I put Deuce there, and that's only because of necessity. You're not playing, you know what I mean? You're not playing Mitch 48 minutes. We don't know for sure how much OG or Randall is actually going to play at the 5, because that is an adjustment for Tibbs. You know what I mean? When you speak historically. So I think you got to put a big as that 8th guy before Deuce. I think you have to.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so that means if you're doing that, then that means you're going Deuce maybe 9.
Yes. Whichever big you put in that 8, Deuce is going to be next.
Okay, and so then after that, would you say then that would leave Jericho with the 10th spot?
If it's Precious at the 8th, no. I think whoever gets the nod, whether it's Precious or Sims, and it's probably Precious because he was re-signed. If they had that belief in Sims, I think they might have just let Precious walk and maybe focus bringing somebody else in. So I think Sims has to fight his way in. But I think after Deuce, it's really a fight between Kolek and Cam. Because
so you're basically saying if you're bringing in Precious, you don't need to bring in a Jericho.
No, I think Jericho's break in case of emergency. I think Jericho plays if somebody goes down.
Interesting.
Because it's also about versatility. You know what I mean? Positional versatility. Where even if the Knicks are on record or whatever saying they view Deuce as a 2, they know they could play him at the 1 alongside Hart and DiVincenzo. They know they could do that. The ball handling duties get spread out. You know what I mean? It's not his primary duty to handle the ball. We've seen it. I don't know if Sims has that positional versatility. He's, you know what I mean, he's kind of stuck at that 5. You're not, if you play him at the 4, you not who you playing him with. You know what I mean? Alongside. Right. So he's kind of stuck at that 1 spot. So I think, and I'm not saying because of that Sims don't play. Sims and Precious could rotate duties from game in and game out, depending on, you know what I mean? Like the same way I feel like Cam and Kolek could rotate backup duties from game in and game out, depending on what's needed or who earned it. We're deep, man. We're 11 deep. We're at best a 10-man rotation. You know what I mean?
This is interesting. It's a really good problem to have, man. Yeah, I never thought we'd be in this situation, but I'm definitely loving it. This is a great issue for Tibbs. You just got to figure it out. But
because I don't see somebody in the chat said Precious is backing up Randall. I don't see, if that's the case, we're playing heavy small ball. You know what I mean? So maybe it's Precious at the 4, OG as the backup 5 when he, you know what I mean, when he's not with, you know what I mean, when he's with that second unit. I can see that as well. But Tibbs has to he has to adjust that way, where we're kind of, when Mitch is out, it's always small ball. Whether it's Precious at the 5, whether it's OG at the 5, whether it's Randall at the 5, you know what I mean? Like that's possible too.
I don't know. The McBride, Dante Hart, Precious. I see it. Huck Porty though, even though, listen, I'm all for it. It's tough to crack Tibbs's, you know, his circle of trust.
If that's the second unit, so Huck Porty is gonna leapfrog Sims.
That actually, you know what? Not for nothing.
And that's possible.
That looks better. Huck Porty looks better to me than Sims.
But but McBride now is leapfrogging both. And I'm not saying leapfrogging because he's been here, so he probably should get the nod first. But that's leapfrogging Kolek, who Bagley reported is is the backup point guard, and is leapfrogging Campaign, who Bagley initially reported would be getting some minutes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Let me give a little love to the chat real quick. Shout out to my guy Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat, Paris. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope your night is treating you right. My guy Sha Powers in the building. Salute. What up, Sha? Good to see you. One half of Knicks Real Talk with my brother Divine. Please show them some love on YouTube. Kevin Bergen in the building said Kolek will sneak into the rotation. Maybe. Yeah, could be. I mean, he's making the money. You know, when you make the money, sometimes you get the look. Shout out to Hector Gaston. Tibbs will be judged if he overuses Mitch, Brunson, and Randall. Well, this time around, the Knick fan is definitely going to be looking closely at how Tibbs uses these guys as far as minute wise after what took place last year, even though there's already been enough factual information to show that he didn't do anything outside of what other people did in the league. But it is what it is. I get it.
Well, right now, other than Mitch, we have the personnel to give these guys a legitimate rest night in and night out. Who the rest comes from is what has to be determined, but we have more than enough to give Randall and Brunson rest. Mitch is going to be the hardest guy to decide.
Yeah. Ivory 10 was talking about the Pat Riley stuff earlier. We should have gave it to him, not like we did any better for the next 20 years. That's true. They should have gave him the keys because what it's one thing to say that, like, it's not like Pat Riley wasn't a winner everywhere he went. So it's not like, you give it to Phil Jackson, for example, and it's experiment. You don't know how it's going to work because it didn't work anywhere else. Phil Jackson didn't show any track record of it. But the one thing you could say that Pat Riley had over Phil Jackson is he won big time other places. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is.
I always felt like they should have gave it to him too. And then watching I'm not even going to say the success, because the success, the actual championship came later, right? But he was still able to be kind of neck and neck with us going to Miami. So he was still right there going to Miami, able to battle with us for years and years. But the success came later. Would the Knick fan base and organization been able to cope with him not actually getting over the hump? Even though in New York, I think he would have got there. You know what I mean? It would have been sooner than it was for him in Miami had we retained him. But I don't think it would have been immediate. Is what I'm leading at. It still would have been a learning curve for him because he had the learning curve in Miami.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you're right in that regard. It would have taken a little bit of a little time for it to work out the way you would have wanted it to. There was no guarantees, right? So that's a good point. I'm with you on that. And guys, definitely, please, if you just joined the show, once again, we got another great show. It's been a really good conversation here, chopping it up with Tony from Knicks and Bruises, NBK fam in the building. Please smash that like button if you haven't already done so. We got over 145 people watching across all platforms, but we only got 57 likes. So please smash that like button if you haven't already done so. Show your love for the show and let the powers that be know, we should be in that algorithm. Let us keep rocking and allow us to jump up on their list. So appreciate you guys. So that being said, I also want to say what's up to Al Tango in the building. He says, salute, Ard. Who do you think is better at this moment, Hulk Porty or Scaps? That's a good question. How about what do you think about that, Tony?
I'll be honest. I'll say Hulk Porty. The reason I like Scaps is he has the opportunity to bring a different dynamic to this team. Or even potentially make up for some of what we lost in iHeart, if that makes sense. Hulk Porty is going to give us more of what we already have in Mitchell Robinson. But when it comes to just ready, I think Hulk Porty is more ready. You know what I mean? I think Scaps, his skill set is great, but it's going to be more of an adjustment for him to kind of find his way, I think, where Hulk Porty it's about what he does well. Like, he could just do that and be fine. You know what I mean? I think Scaps is like, yeah, we know what your skill set is, but now you got it. We're depending on you to hit those shots. You know what I mean? Take them shots and hit them. Hukporti is more about rim running. He's above the rim. Like, he's gonna do that regardless. So, but I like them both, and I'm not. I'm fine with either one if they made it into a spot or spot minutes or whatever the case. But as far as like the question's not ready. It's better. I think Scap's got a bit better skill set. But I think ready is Hukporti.
Yeah. I think Hukporti is. He definitely seems like he's at that point where I could say he might be able to do some things. Like, if he has a good practice going into a decent preseason, that might be enough for Tibbs to say already you get the nod over Sims, and that's saying something because Sims really has cachet to lose the job. You know, he's been here long enough.
I'll give you a better example. Scaps, he has the skill set, but he has to be built. The trust has to reach a level to even be utilized all of his skill sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta reach a trust level for Tibbs to reach a trust level to be utilized as any type of offensive hub or offensive focal point. Where Hukporti, he doesn't have to be any type of focal point. You know what I mean? He's a low usage and lunch pail guy. So he's gonna get you rebounds. He's gonna get you lobs. He's gonna, you know what I mean? He's gonna run the floor. For Scap to be at his true best, you got to give him the ball. You know what I mean? You got to kind of utilize him offensively. So one is a usage guy, one is not. Are you gonna is Scap's gonna get trusted to be utilized offensively? I think you got to kind of grow into that role. Yeah, I mean, for Tibbs to be like, all right, he's putting in this work in practice, or he's putting in this work in the scrimmages. You know what I mean? Like, Hukporti is kind of just do what you do. You have a role in any team as an NBA player. You know what I mean? It may not be a starter, but you gotta roll. Hukporti, you gotta get trusted to kind of be your best. I mean,
that's fair.
Scaps, you got to be trusted to be your best.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, Tony. I think you might be right there. This is interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. The conversation has been fantastic. Al Tango thinks, I think Hulk P is more athletic and defensive minded than Scaps. Space Ghost says Scaps has been in the Knicks system for at least 2 years. I think he will be more iHeart-like with passing, plus he can shoot. I think Scaps is tricky, man.
I agree with that, but is he going to be trusted to be given that role? Even iHeart, he didn't really get that role until guys went down. You know what I mean? Like, like we saw it very, very seldom until like the back half of this past year, where he was being utilized as a hub. And that's why I use the word hub. Like, it took iHeart to grow into that role, or Tibbs to grow into trusting him into that role. Whatever case you know what I mean, whatever way you look at it, is Scaps going to get that opportunity from jump? If it's a long-term project, I think Scaps. If it's an immediate impact, I think Hulk.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, we'll see. But it's definitely interesting. But hey, man, I wanted to look at this real quick before we got out of here. I said that I think it's a good time to kind of take a look at what this Knicks 10-man rotation might look like compared to the rest of not the rest, but the other top teams in the East. And I'm not going crazy because in my mind, I'm just being honest with you guys. It's a 3-team race. If I'm being me, you know, and I gotta be real. It's the Knicks, it's Boston, and it's Philly. In my mind.
Hey, you gotta say
do you see anybody else?
4 teams get home court, so you gotta open the door to a 4th team. I'm gonna throw Milwaukee as the 4th team. Now granted, there's a few teams that could surpass them, but just off GP and respect, you know what I mean? Like that was Dame's first year there, right?
It was.
So I'm gonna give them an adjustment period. Part of me, you know what I mean, and assume that they will be better than last year, like that. You know what I mean? Like that's a big adjustment for both Dame and Giannis. Neither one has played with the level of talent of the other in their career, right? So
no.
If you want to just be fair, I'm not going to count them out. I'll put them as the 4th team, not ahead of us, but as the 4th.
Damn it, Tony. It's fair. It's true.
I'm just saying, fair. 4 teams get home court. You know what I mean? So if you want to look at it that way, at least put them in the 4th team that gets home court for the first round.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't be mad at it. I mean, you're right. That is fair. Okay. All right. Well, this is gonna take a second longer. Give me. I need a second longer to do this now. So I had 3 teams ready, but you know, if we want to include a 4th team in Milwaukee, it's gonna take a little while longer. But I can do it.
You just should have hit me in the private chat. Like, shut up, bro.
Nah, you good. You good. It actually makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, everybody's going to be able to see it. I am going to shorten it and make it a little smaller for everyone. But I do have to. I got to take a second just to add these people in here because it makes a lot of sense. So that's why I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with what you're saying.
They don't even want Milwaukee in there. I'm seeing don't forget Miami, Orlando, the Pacers.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna listen. If we believe the way we believe in our Knicks, there's not too many other teams that should be in this conversation. I'll give Milwaukee a little bit of a fighting chance because you know what? Milwaukee is always one of the better teams in the league. They had some injury concerns last year, just like everybody else. And so if they're healthy and whatever retooling they've done, maybe that's enough. You know what I mean? So that's fair. I think I can agree with Tony on that. That makes sense. So yeah, that works. We'll look at it like that. All right. And let me add Milwaukee to this mix. Man, Tony making me work harder.
My bad, man.
That's what happens. You bring a damn content creator on here. You see what happens?
He start thinking and stuff.
Yeah, man. Who told this guy to think? Yeah, I mean, trying to make the show better and stuff. Adding these good thoughts. What we doing here, Tony?
Hey, man, you gotta catch me when I'm feeling good and I got a day off.
Man, Milwaukee Bucks. Hopefully I spelled Milwaukee right. Nope. Where's the L? There we go. Milwaukee Bucks.
Putting pressure on you.
Yeah. I'm against the clock now. So now I got to cut to commercial. Oh, the Cardiac Knicks is in the building. What up, Cardiac Knicks? Good to see you. I like it. I like that name. That's dope. Indiana or Atlanta. I mean, but in fairness, guys, if we're keeping it 100, Tony's right. Milwaukee's always there. If Milwaukee didn't get hurt, they was there. If Milwaukee didn't get hurt, I don't think Indiana is getting past the Milwaukee. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? So in fairness, Milwaukee deserves to be on that list. I would say it is more of a top 4. And I do think I know what Miami is, but I honestly think a healthy Milwaukee is better than a healthy Miami right now. I could be wrong.
I should have just said the 4th spot is up for grabs and left it alone.
Yeah, you should have, Tony.
My bad.
Yeah, you should have, but it's okay, buddy. You know what I mean? Either way, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. It will make it work.
Oh! Did you see Cardiac Knicks was formerly Bricks Nation?
Yeah, that's why I was like, it looks the
to
same, but I just knew it was different.
Name. That's what's up. I know the feeling, man.
All right, hold on. Now I gotta add all these Buck players. Give me a second. Boom, boom, boom. The Bucks. Okay, Bucks players. Boom, boom, boom. All right, guys, you're gonna get nowhere else are you getting this right now. We're doing the comparison, 4-team comparison around the league in the Eastern Conference, the 10-man rotation, and how the Knicks stack up to these other teams. Okay, so bear with me. The purpose is good, and I think it creates good conversation. So first off, while I'm doing this, let me ask you this, Tony. Can you name
10?
I know. Exactly.
Can I name 10 Knicks players? Absolutely.
Yeah. I hear you. That's what makes it interesting. Okay. So here's the thing. Like some of these players, I didn't even know Philadelphia had, for example. Like this is interesting.
I could probably do Philly just because I've been watching the moves they've been making all year. But I don't know if I could hit 10. I could probably name 9 or 8 Philly players.
I'm gonna have to make this even smaller. Philly's name is so damn big. Sheesh. And so is in comparison, Milwaukee. Man.
I could name 10 Celtic players. They're top 10.
Yeah, I think it's easier to name their top 10 because we got to see a good amount of them play and what they look like. This thing is all jacked up now.
My bad.
So, no, you good. So this is what I'm thinking, guys. You might have to help me if y'all know. I don't know that much about Milwaukee's 10-man rotation. What I think the 10-man rotation is, I'll tell y'all as I'm finishing it real quick. I believe it's Damian Lillard, right? I think they let him go. Help me out, guys. Ooh. Is Chris Middleton on Milwaukee still? I think he's gone.
Yeah, no, he's still there.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought they let him go, bro. I don't know. Maybe I was bugging out.
Like traded him or let him walk?
No, I thought he was a free agent. I
don't think he was. I don't think he was a free agent. I don't think he was.
Okay, well,
nah, we would know where he's at right now because he ain't. You know what I mean? He ain't a bum. So we would know who picked him up.
Let's see here.
He's there.
Chris said, "What up, Chris? Good to see you."
Yes,
said they're not getting rid of Middleton. Good to see you, Chris. Hey, can you do me a favor? Oh, you can't see. You don't have it up, right? You don't have the chat up.
I don't.
All right.
But I'm about to help you out.
So, Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous super chat, my brother. Can you see that, Tony?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, can you read that for me, my brother?
Anyone who's played on a championship level team knows that nobody is just penciled in as set rotation piece. Leon has gone out to acquire guys to challenge this team in practice and for playing time. I agree. Or at least that's my hopes. That's my hopes for 100%. I mean, I say that saying that I think there's 7 guys for 100% sure penciled in. But after that, you know what I mean? it's an open fight, open spot. You know what I mean? Open fight for whether it's 3 more or ends up being 2 or ends up being 1. The players have the opportunity to determine that. Because that backup point guard, in my estimation, you want to rest Brunson. You don't want him playing as much as he played last year. And if things are great, he won't have to play as much as he played last year. You know what I mean? And to me, that goes down the line across the board. If we smacking teams like we was in January, guess what? Our starting 5 gets the rest.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and that's when, which like I think a lot of Knicks fans will be happy about. That's when you get to see these young players get some burn. You get to see a Tyler Kohler get some minutes. You get to see some possibly extended minutes for Deuce, possibly. There's no guarantees, but you would think in that situation, that's when you're going to get to see what these young guys look like. And for a lot of Knicks fans, that's going to be a lot of fun. I know I would definitely enjoy it. Okay, so all right. So you guys said that what's his face is still there. How about Brook Lopez? Is he gone?
He's still there.
Sheesh.
$25 million this year.
Oh, he did a 1 year. Yeah. No, that I remember that now. It's coming back to me. Okay. All right. So Brook is still there.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez. Did they keep that guy named Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yeah, I think they held on to him. He got 1 year left.
Antetokounmpo. That name is crazy hard to spell, and I think I probably spelled it wrong. Antetokounmpo.
I always write Greek Freak.
Ooh, that's a hard name to spell. Oh man. Kumpo. Wow. Y'all don't get it. It's hard to pronounce. It's even harder to spell. Jeez, I spelled that crazy. Antetokounmpo. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. That's crazy. I still think I spelled it wrong, but we're gonna let it rock because I don't have time to be doing that. All right. Bobby Portis is still there, right?
Absolutely.
So who replaced who was their power forward then? Oh no, the power forward, no, their small forward. Is that Middleton? So who's the shooting guard? That's what's confusing me, the shooting guard. It was the dude from Minnesota was with them. He's gone. Not that I know he's gone.
I'm sorry. I got to step away for 1 second. My cat done wrapped herself in a bag.
Oh yeah. You go get her, man. I don't want no issues, bro. That'd be some sad stuff, man. Cats get into everything, y'all. So the shooting guards for Milwaukee: Pat Connaughton, Marjon Beauchamp, AJ Green, Gary Trent Jr. It's got to be him. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll do Gary Trent Jr. here. Brook Lopez. Then we got Pat Connaughton. I don't know these dudes like that. I mean, I know Pat Connaughton, but HTON. Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right, this is looking better. This comparison is actually interesting. It makes you look at the Knicks team a lot better. You enjoy seeing the 10-man rotation that we got compared to these other guys. Yeah, this is not bad at all. Oh, they traded for, really, man. They traded for Gallinari too. Oh shoot. Wait, for Milwaukee? Because he's not on this roster. I don't see him here. Huh. Or maybe it just hasn't been updated yet. Which I'm not surprised, because that's how they move in these circles, man. They don't be updating stuff. And it does not surprise me at all.
My bad, I'm coming.
No,
She
you
done
good?
got the bag wrapped around her neck like a cape, and then got me chasing her around.
Oh man, cats, man, they get into it, bro. Let me see what y'all saying here. Hey, Wacko in Brooklyn in the building. Salute, Wacko. Don't know why the fan base worried about the bench. McBride, Devo, Josh, Shula is good. Knicks fix. Okay. Oh yeah. So they traded for him. Yeah, it's just not showing up on the on this list that I'm looking at. Let me just go to something else real quick. Milwaukee Bucks roster 24-25. Let's see what ESPN got cooking. Yep. Yeah. Chris, you are on top of it. Shout out to you. Danilo Gallinari. That was my guy, man. I miss him as a Knick. I hate that he used to look like a deer in headlights, but I miss watching him play. He was a fun player, man.
I always say he was our first unicorn.
Yeah, you're right. Marjon Beauchamp. I don't know, man. I'm not worried about the spelling of these names because there's a lot going on here, guys. So if it's spelled wrong, just understand. You get the point. You know what's going on. You know.
That's right. We not Bucks fans. We still Knicks fans.
Facts. So, I didn't know they drafted Tyler Smith. I wonder if he's going to make their rotation. Tyler Smith's that kid that got busy in the G League. He was on the G League elite team. Somebody that people had possibly going to the Knicks. I'll make him the last person on their 10-man. I don't know if it's right, guys. So, like I said, don't hold it against me. I don't know. I would have had to kind of look a little deeper into what the Bucks got going on to see. But okay, so we had a pick between these guys: Andre Jackson Jr., Jay Crowder, or AJ. Patrick Beverly is still playing. I thought he retired. He's still playing.
He's overseas.
Yeah. See, they killing me with this stuff.
Yeah, he signed with well, I don't know what team he signed with, but yeah, he's overseas.
Okay, so they got their own AJ Green, not the dude who was celibate for his whole career and played for the Lakers. This is
that was AC Green.
AC Green. Okay. So AJ Green from Northern Iowa is on the team. Then you got Jay Crowder, AJ Johnson, and Chris Livingston. I don't know who is above who. And they got Ryan Rollins. Like, this is a crapshoot, guys. If just to get it done, I'm gonna put Jay Crowder because he's an NBA player. You know what I mean? But I don't think Jay Crowder got kicked off of the.
I think he a free agent right now.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. Milwaukee's funky. All right. So if he's a free agent, man, this is nuts.
Listen, my bad, yo. Just go with your 3 teams.
It's too late now. I was all guys. I was set. I have my 3 teams ready.
I was just saying that Dame and Giannis still have time to figure it out. That's all I was saying.
I know. I hear you. You good. You good. Let me look at the money. Maybe the money will help me. Who's making the most money out of these guys that I just mentioned? Who's left? Gary Trent's already in there. Bobby Portis is in. Chris Middleton, Brooke, Damian, AJ Green's making almost $2 million. Jay Crowder's making $2 million. Oh, well, he might be a free agent still. I'm gonna go with AJ Green. Fine, AJ Green it is. Okay, and I'm gonna be done with this. AJ Green. Okay, we'll see who these guys are. I don't know, guys. You know what I mean? That it's a good experiment. Whether or not these are the true guys or not, you get the point. You understand what we're trying to do here. And let's put them in red. Yeah. Okay, cool. The 10-man rotation. All right, so this is what it is, folks. Let's see. Let's add this and we'll check it out. Sorry for the delay, guys, but you know, I just wanted to make sure we talked about this because it was a key piece of content for the show, and I didn't want to forget and leave it for another day. I was like, let me get to it now while I got Tony here, because I definitely want to pick Tony's brain about the 10-man rotation thing. Okay, here it is, guys. Boom. Hopefully you can see this. If you can't, blame Tony. It's not perfect, but we're trying our best here. All right. So these are the 10-man rotations. Technically, don't hold me to the accuracy, but you get an idea of the top Eastern Conference teams most likely going into this season. So, the Knicks, we're saying Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, Precious Achua, Deuce McBride. Then you got either Tyler Kolek or Campaign, right? To finish the 10-man. Then Boston, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. That 5 is crazy. Al Horford, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett, and Xavier Tillman. For Philadelphia's been busy. They have definitely added some people. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Kelly Oubre, Caleb Martin, Joel Embiid, Kenyon Martin Jr. I didn't even know they had him. Eric Gordon, I knew that. Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, I remember they just got him. And the dancer himself, Mr. Jared McCain, who can ball, though, so don't sleep on him. I don't care how many TikToks the man does. He got some game. And then you got Milwaukee, who, like I said, this one's up in the air. I don't know if everybody's correct here, but Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr. Well, Gary Trent Jr. actually is a pretty good signing for them. Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Danilo Gallinari, Mojan Beauchamp, which I think that's spelled wrong, AJ Green, and Tyler Smith. So if you guys, let me know in the chat, guys, if you had to look at these 10-man rotations, like I said, for the most part, I think this is like 75% right. It may not be 100% right, whatever, but you get an idea. If you looked at these 10-man rotations, which team do you think has the best 10-man of these 4? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to go through that while I take a look at the likes for the show and because I don't want Tony to give his answer and then it sways everybody else. We are currently at 80 likes, guys. There's 89 people watching on YouTube. So there's 9 people out there that haven't hit that like button. If you can hit the like button, appreciate you. Thank you. Shows love to the show, and appreciate all those that are watching still on X or on Facebook, because we got a community of people that are tuned in everywhere. Thank you guys. All right, so once again, this is the 10-man rotation for these 4 teams. Which 10-man rotation do you think is the best now that you see how these kind of look stacked up against each other? What happened here? There's one of these is kind of weird. That Kristaps Porzingis name looks funky. Something's doubled over there, but it is what it is. I ain't fixing it. Let's get it out of here. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah. Okay. I see you. Chris said the rosters are going to look crazy, but the coaches will cut them down before the opening tip. Mega, well, shout out to Mega. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you, Mega. Said Ron Gallinari is no longer on the Bucks. He's a free agent. Man. Okay, well, there's that. Old head said looks good, Ron. Good work. Well, we trying, but if I had a little bit more time, I'd get it right for y'all.
Or if Tony didn't make it a 14 race. Go ahead. You could throw me under the bus, man. It's all right.
Nah, it's all right. We about content. We for the people. We for the people. Appreciate you. Nick Yak says I wanted Gallinari, but we got Burks. Okay, well, he's a little long in the tooth. Yeah. White Falcon. Yeah, they got Andre Drummond and they got Reggie. Reggie they just picked up like 2 weeks ago, or around there. I don't know, something around there. So White Falcon likes Milwaukee's team. Okay. Yeah, Indiana is where they need to be, not top 4. Yes, listen to Mega Man. Show support and appreciation for SKF. Hit the like and comment, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Okay, so D Coolest 718 says Sixers, if healthy, give us the most problems, in my opinion. Sixers have been busy, man. They've kind of I was wondering how they were going to fill out the roster. They did add some interesting pieces. I'm gonna put that up one more time for everybody to take a look at, and so for Tony to give his thoughts. Chris said Philly and Boston is tough, but we can grind with anyone. Knicks, but I'm biased. Shout out to Space Ghost. Old Head says no to 4 guards in the second unit. Need Huck, Porty, or Sims. Okay. Nick Yak says Boston and Milwaukee counting on some old rotation players. Yeah, Chris, we were talking about it, and so we kind of feel like that Precious is here now. Precious is going to get the nod over Sims, and with regards to Sims, the Knicks may stagger a lot of these other players, so you won't have the necessarily need for another big outside of Mitch, outside of Julius and Precious, because at any given time, OG's going to be on the court, or McCall's going to be on the court, or whatever. And, with Josh Hart, they can use Josh Hart. He's a good rebounder. Tibbs got some weird ways he can do things. All right. Shout out to Georgie Ortiz. Appreciate you. Milwaukee's vets are superstars. Bucks whole team is a juggernaut. Celtics team is a juggernaut. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot. So, Tony, let me put this back up one more again for everybody else to take a look at. You can see it real quick once again. That's kind of what it looks like. Hopefully y'all could read it. It's a little smaller, but that's kind of what these 10-man rotations may look like. Nothing set in stone, and obviously we know that some stuff has changed already, especially with Milwaukee. Okay, let me get it down. What's your thoughts, Tony? Now you look at that, who do you think has the best 10-man rotation?
My bias, Knicks fandom tells me Knicks. If I'm speaking realistically, I gotta give the Celtics their credit being defending champs, and they ain't make a change to their roster. As far as the Celtics, they do have a good stacked roster. They kind of they kind of resemble or remind me of our 2012, 2013 team to a lesser extent. You know what I mean? A lot of their guys are past their prime, but still adequate in the back end. You know what I mean? The Eric Gordons, the Andre Drummonds, the Reggie Jacksons. I give us the edge in the starting lineup because as much as George brings offensively, Maxey brings offensively, I think at the very worst, Randall, McCall, and Brunson could even these guys out as far as production.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we make it tougher for these guys to score, whether it's Mitchell Robinson, OG combo with Embiid. I think both of those guys have had great defensive minutes against them. And then, you know, you could put OG on Paul George. You could put McCall on Paul George. Maxey's a problem. But Brunson's a problem. So, you know what I mean? Where things cancel each other out. Now we talk about Randall, which I haven't even mentioned yet. They don't have an answer for Randall. They don't have a guy that cancels them out either. You know what I mean? So advantage us. Advantage us in the starting five. Advantage us in the bottom five, or at least the bottom four. You know what I mean? Like, well, actually, no. Philly bottom four, we beat them. Bottom five, we beat them. Celtics, I think we beat their bottom four, but not their bottom five. When you talk about campaign and Kolek, Tillman is a little bit more serviceable than Kolek, who we haven't seen in the NBA game yet, and Cam Payne is kind of like off or on.
Yeah. So I made a change real quick, cleaned up that Porzingis mess that looked wild, and I took Gallinari out of there and added Andre Jackson Jr. To the mix. But like I said, Milwaukee is just, I don't know enough about what they got going on over there.
Yeah, again, exactly my bad. I didn't notice what you was doing. I should have paid more attention. You kept saying 10-man roster. I knew I didn't. I wouldn't even mention them because I don't know their 10-man roster, to be honest. I was just speaking of them being top heavy and whatever adjustments. You know what I mean? I don't expect Dame and Giannis to play as bad together as they did last year. You know what I mean? They played great when one was on the court and one wasn't. You know what I mean? But together they didn't figure that out. I would think with a full fresh offseason and coming off last year, they improve in that aspect. But back into the roster is nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? Even if that's inaccurate, I don't think you missed somebody of vital importance to them.
Right.
It's going to be a difference.
And we don't know necessarily. I'm just saying, this throwing up a 10-man rotation. We don't know how that rotation would get used. Because quite honestly, if I was a guessing man, I would think that this Jared McCain kid for Philadelphia earns minutes over Reggie Jackson and even Eric Gordon, because this kid looks like he can ball, man. I think he might. And remember, they don't have their power forward is gone. They let him walk.
What position does he play?
Well, he's a shooting guard. So I mean, he don't play that position, but I'm just saying, like, the minutes that they used to give to their power forward, who was integral in helping them. You know, he gave them between 12 and 15 points. What the hell is this guy's name again from Long Island?
The guy they hate in Philly?
Well, I mean, do they hate him?
Tobias
Harris. Thank you.
Yeah, they don't. Go ahead and mention his name if Philadelphia, if you want to.
Well, so now that he's gone, they're gonna need scoring from other places, right? Caleb Martin does help with that. Paul George helps with that, but I'm talking about bench scoring, right? Mm-hmm. So I think Jared McCain might be a big focal point for them coming off the bench, putting up some buckets, right? Eric Gordon can help with that. But I would see Jared McCain actually going into the lineup and contributing. I don't know how they would make it work with all these guys, Kenyon Martin Jr. and Reggie Jackson. I don't know, but I just see him getting some minutes.
The only reason I wouldn't put him, I would put him over. I would probably put him over Reggie Jackson. I don't know if I would put him over Eric Gordon, just because I think Eric Gordon is probably more capable of playing the 1 and 2. So maybe Gordon could back up Maxey as opposed to Reggie Jackson.
Right.
Like neither one of them are true point guards, but I think Gordon will probably be a better facilitator. It's crazy because both of them like to shoot the ball. like who's gonna be their facilitator? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Who's the guy that kind of sets the table? It might only be Paul George. He might be the only one like that's a willing table setter, if you will.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And then Paul George, I think he averaged around 5 or 6 assists a game anyway. So I guess that makes sense.
And if he is, that means everybody else is kind of playing iso ball. I mean, even Reggie Jackson, he's a scorer. He's not looking to pass the ball unless he's giving the ball to Embiid. You know what I mean, or one of those main guys. He's not looking to create for anyone other than himself.
You might be right. Let me see.
I think as good as their roster is, I think they have the biggest adjustment period. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to figure things out more than any other one of these 10-man rosters. As good as they are.
No, actually, he averaged less assists. I apologize. 3.5 assists. But then again, you know, he was in a different role with the Clippers, and they had Harden over there, so he didn't have to really worry about that. Maybe with Philadelphia, he will have to pick that up. I'll be having people's stats on deck, baby. Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, man, I think they have the biggest adjustment to kind of like figure it out than any one of these teams. Like the Milwaukee team, they kind of already had a year to figure it out, right? Gary Trent is a new addition, assuming he's starting. You know what I mean? Like there's not that much to figure out as an adjustment. I expect Damon and Giannis to be better. The Celtics, yeah, they coming in as a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Like there's no adjustments for them. But Philly, man, you bringing in Paul George, and then your whole second unit is kind of new. Your whole, you know what I mean? Like there's no familiarity, there's no continuity. The things that we thrive on, the Knicks, I think that gives us an edge over them for sure.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think you are right. That makes sense. I listen, I mean, yes, of course we're going to be a little biased. It is the Knicks, but I just think that so the only thing is the Celtics, man, they're a good squad, bro. They play offense and defense, which I think they get kind of underrated because of it. So I really would give I think it's between them and the Celtics. I don't really worry too much about Philadelphia as much. And I definitely am not really concerned about Milwaukee. But I am I'm highly impressed by that Celtic team. And I can't surprised that they were able to put all that together. But yeah, they're just a little interesting. But I think the Knicks might have some dynamic stuff that they can use to really combat what the Celtics got going on. And definitely what Philly got going on with a healthy Mitch. With a healthy Mitch, I don't think I'm not worried about Philly, not one iota, because I think Mitch can handle Embiid, like, you know, and I mean handle, like slow him down a little bit. You can't stop Embiid. And I think that's enough for the rest of the guys to sink their teeth in on defense and do what they got to do to slow the rest of the team down. So I'm kind of with you. Maybe I am a little bit more biased towards the Knicks too, but I do respect Boston. That's the most you're going to get out of me, Boston. I'm not going to give you much more than that.
and Porzingis, you know what I mean? He ain't gonna be available to what? Christmas?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Porzingis is out for the first part of the season. So yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
So now they become a small team, right? You know, we
Knicks
talk about the small ball lineups or whatever. Like, it may be able to be utilized against them if we play them twice early in the year. Or you know what I mean, Mitchell Robinson may be able to be that much more effective or dominant without having to chase. I mean, granted, yes, Horford can stretch the floor, but he ain't shooting it and he ain't able to do the things at his age that KP is.
Right. Yeah. Well, guys, listen, man. The show went a lot longer than I expected, but I definitely wanted to make sure we got it to have a little bit of a conversation about the 10-man rotation stuff, because not only is it good to see from a pro standpoint, like that the Knicks 10-man rotation looks pretty damn good. It's also good to see from a fair standpoint, like, you know, some of these other teams, their 10-man ain't that bad either. So like it helps level the playing field, so we know what we actually playing with, and we just not, you know, talking like Homer fans with no realism behind it. I still think the Knicks have a really good 10-man rotation, and in the end, they could be the best 10-man rotation in the East, and if not, maybe one of the best 10-man rotations in the whole NBA. The West is a little different animal, but I think the Knicks 10-man looks pretty good. So we'll see what happens, man. But going forward, I'm feeling real confident. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys for rocking and sticking with us this whole night. Definitely showing love, smashing that like button, subscribing if you haven't already subscribed, because we are definitely on the road to 3K by the end of the summer, 5K by the end of the year. And looking forward to seeing everybody at the parade when the Knicks win the championship. But, you know, I've said too much. You guys get it. Oh, come on, Wiz. Yo, what's going on, Wiz? You got some wild hours lately, man. You've been missing these shows.
Replay gang,
brother. It is what it is. But yeah, man. Tony, any final words, my brother? And you got anything else planned for this week with regards to content or what?
I'll be back Wednesday one way or another. So, definitely be on with Queen and Dope Show Sports Talk on Wednesday. So check out, look out for that. If you didn't catch the show earlier, man, go back, join the replay gang. You know what I mean, Wiz? You got this one to jump back and rewind, and you got Knicks and Bruises as well. You got MBK was back tonight. It's a whole bunch, man. They keep you up if you working night. You know what I mean? You get through the night on the whole MBK fan. But Ron, man, 2 hours with you, man. I might need to clock in. You know what I mean? But it's been great, man. All day I've been working. But it feels good to be back.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I did not expect to keep you this long, but it's your fault.
That's fair. That's peace. Opened my mouth. I said, left it with 3 teams.
The show was nice and tidy, and then
I don't even like Milwaukee like that either. That's
you know what I mean? Like, come on, why I said that, yo? But appreciate you, bro. I thank you for being here and joining the show with me. We always have a good time chopping it up. You know, MBK fam, you know how it is. You know, as I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9 p.m. ish, Saturdays at 11:30 for Know the Ledge, and we are going to get back cracking and rolling in the middle of the week, doing some MBK content and possibly some front stoop stuff. But you know, we got to see how it all shakes out. I'm definitely more concerned about making sure the MBK stuff gets going, and if the front stoop stuff presents itself and we get some good people to interview and get back into that hip hop bag, we will do that as well. But thank you guys for supporting. Continue to support MBK and all their shows. The Simeon, the Podfather, is back. Continue to support my guy Tony and Knicks and Bruises and his content, and he's looking to take his stuff to the next level. So stay tuned.
Wait, put the last comment up. Put the last comment up.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the show, Ron and Losers Lounge guy. Respect. Appreciate you, 808 Empire State. Thank you, brother. But yeah, man, thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Keep showing love, keep supporting the shows. There's a lot of good Nick content, and it's gonna get even better once the season starts. But stay tuned, man. We rocking. We here for the long haul, man. We're gonna see if we get to the promised land, man. Hoist the trophy. I'm excited. We'll see. All right, y'all. But that's enough. Now it's really enough. Work tomorrow. Anyway, have a great night, y'all. We out of here. Catch you on the next one.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.